Hello everyone and welcome to another Premier Injuries Daily Update. This will be your final one ahead of game week 19 and the Boxing Day fixtures. I'll be covering a handful of press conferences which occurred on Christmas Eve morning and also a few mop-ups from the Carabao Cup. If you've missed the two videos preceding this, check them out. They do cover all of the press conferences from Thursday and also some from Wednesday. Now, we heard from Dean Smith on Friday morning. He's mentioned that the club have had some fresh COVID outbreaks. However, as it stands, the game against Arsenal does not come under threat. There are a number of potential returners who've been missing in recent games, and thankfully it looks as if they'll be okay. They currently have 17 first-team players available, which is above the Premier League threshold. So Christos Tzolis, Lucas Rupp, potentially he'll be a late decision. Joshua Sargent and also Pierre-Lise Melieu. They're the players who are all back in contention. The biggest doubt would be under Lucas Rupp, but he shouldn't be too far away. We've also know that Ozan Kabak has recovered from a calf problem that forced him off against Aston Villa. And we also can maybe expect nobody else back in the squad as it currently stands, because we've had other updates with regards to Grant Hanley. Good news with regards to his shoulder. He doesn't need shoulder surgery. However, the ligament problem that he suffered in the defeat to Manchester United in a tangle with Cristiano Ronaldo damaged ligaments, and it's going to keep him out for at least a few more weeks. Also, Andrew Omabedeli. He has been managing a lower back stress related fracture there. Dean Smith thinks that he could be around about 10 days. So that puts him in and around maybe the beginning of January to the mid part of January. So again, he's out of the festive fixtures. Rosicka, groin issue. He was targeted to return on Boxing Day. The game is probably going to come too soon. So it's more likely or hopeful that he will return in game week 20 against Leicester. And elsewhere, one major setback was with regards to Matthias Norman. Now, he had been receiving injections for a pelvic problem that he's been managing for a number of months. It was hoped that he would be back for the game, but after suffering a setback on the training pitches, the decision was taken for him to go under the knife, and he's now ruled out for the foreseeable future. The Norwich team and squad is a little bit up in the air at the moment. So we'll have to wait until Boxing Day to see who those 5 new COVID cases are, and hopefully there will be no more. Staying on COVID, we mentioned yesterday that Rafa was really surprised and disappointed that the Premier League rejected his case to postpone the game this weekend. And that was because Everton are managing, again, a number of issues with COVID and also injury. He said he had in and around 9 first-team senior outfield players and 3 goalkeepers, and he was struggling to get a starting 11. Now, Everton have submitted an appeal against that decision, and they're going to push for that game to be called off. So, like I say, keep your eyes and ears open to see if that happens. People being drawn towards Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who could return to the squad, and inherently, given the fact that Everton are pushed for numbers, he may actually be required to even start in that game, which would be a huge risk. And, you know, fingers crossed, you wouldn't want him to suffer a setback on his first game. Leicester City, we haven't heard from Brendan Rodgers, and all comments were taken from their Carabao Cup defeat at Anfield against Liverpool in the penalty shootout. But there's a couple of things, just in case you've missed it. We've seen Ricardo Pereira forced off a reckless challenge from Tyler Morton. That looked like an impact injury on his shin. Painful. He's one to watch. The game also, Timothy Castagne was out of that. We don't know the reasons as to why, but potentially that opens a slot up at right back now. Mark Albrighton was one of the players that stepped in to deputise, and he has come out and he said he'd be happy to do any role, you know, under Brendan Rodgers, as long as he's helping out the team. So that's one to watch. Yannick Vesterguard is a potential start. He only had 1 session ahead of that game with Liverpool following COVID, but with Kaglar Sayunshu struggling with a hamstring problem, went off, complained of tightness, having just returned from a similar issue, and also Johnny Evans He picked up a problem against Newcastle, muscular related as well. So there are big doubts there. We also understand that Daniel Amartey cannot be called upon. He is part of the Ghana squad that will play at the Africa Cup of Nations. They've arranged a pre-tournament training camp in Doha, Qatar. 3 Premier League players called up for that. We understand that Thomas Partey has had a special dispensation or an agreement with Arsenal not to join up a little bit later. We will find out from Patrick Vieira on Friday afternoon with regards to Jordan Ayew, but Daniel Amartey, we understand, has already gone and joined that group, so it's not like he can maybe drop into that backline. Elsewhere, there are also maybe question marks over Hamza Chowdhury, Filip Benkovic, Daley Campbell. They're players that have all been suffering with COVID. However, there are no fresh COVID concerns in the Foxes camp. Now across to West Ham again, we haven't heard from David Moyes since that Carabao Cup defeat to Tottenham, but a couple of major updates. One was with regards to Mikel Antonio. Now, he missed that game after testing positive for COVID, but under new government guideline, that gives us hope that Antonio could be ready for Boxing Day. Now, if you've missed it, what positive cases can now do is if they submit a negative lateral flow test on day 6 and follow that up on day 7 within 24 hours, if that's also negative, then they're cleared to return to duties. Now, that could see Mikel Antonio down at Rush Green and back in training ahead of the game. David Moyes said the player is asymptomatic. He's not having any issues, so he's fairly or cautiously optimistic, should I say, of him being a possible return. The worrying update with regards to the Hammers was with regards to Aaron Queswell. Moyes said that they are missing the fullback, but unfortunately admitted we just don't know when he's due back. Now, that suggests that there's been some kind of complications or a recurrence or a setback along the way. He collided with a goalpost, I think it was with Chelsea, a number of weeks back, and he was said to be close on a number of occasions, but like I say, he hasn't made that matchday squad. Now, we did see Ben Johnson and Ryan Fredericks return to the group on Wednesday night to ease those injury problems in the backline, and also Vladimir Sufal. He had a 1-match ban after accruing after his dismissal for 2 yellow cards. Now, he served that in the Carabao Cup, so he's absolutely fine. He is fit and available. Now, across to Chelsea, I touched upon this new government guidelines, and that's worked in favour of Romelu Lukaku and also Callum Hudson-Odoi. Both players submitted back-to-back negative lateral flow test, and they were training at Cobham on Thursday. That suggests that both players should be fine and will be part of the travelling squad to Villa Park. Also, Andreas Christensen, he's been managing an ongoing back problem. He was back training, so again, he comes into contention. Question marks at the minute remain over Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, and also they're both COVID related. And there's also maybe question marks around Ruben Loftus-Cheek, ankle, and also Hakim Ziyech. He took a whack to the calf, and Thomas Tuchel said that he pinched a nerve and it was causing a little bit of tightness. Now, neither of those players were spotted as part of those training pictures on Thursday. Again, we're not expecting any updates from Thomas Tuchel, so we're having to maybe read between the lines with regards to that, and both of those players, as it currently stands, are rated as major doubts. So that's it for this particular update. Like I say, if I haven't covered everything, then the chances are it would have been done in one of the other 2 videos. And keep your eyes and ears peeled with regards to the Everton update. That would be one, that wouldn't surprise me if that was called off. And there's only one thing left to do, and that's it. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Stay safe, stay well. I hope you have fun, and I will see you back early on the 26th ahead of game week 19. Fingers crossed everything goes smoothly, everybody stays COVID free, and we have what's remaining of a fixture schedule still to go. But for now, that's all. Thanks a lot.